Nirvana, one of the most legendary and well-known bands of all time, garnering billions and billions of streams and plays even 30 years after the band's disbandment following Kurt Cobain's death. With such a well-known band worldwide, there are sure to be many secrets, conspiracies, and facts that go unknown by superfans and casual listeners alike. If you don't know how an iceberg works, well, it starts off with well-known facts and topics that almost everyone knows, to some of those hidden and obscure facts that even the most diehard fans would know. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the Nirvana iceberg. Smiley face logo. Starting off the iceberg with one of the most iconic Nirvana symbols, the smiley face logo. Why the group took this emblem for themselves is not known for certain, but there are several hypotheses. It is believed that this is a pleasing expression on the faces of fans during their live performances. The second explanation is more likely. This is the logo of a strip club, Lusty Lady, once very popular. He was only 100 kilometers from the city of musicians in Seattle. Another suggestion is associated with a member of the group Guns N' Roses. It's like a drunk smile is a portrait of a smiling Axl Rose. Some people are inclined to think that the logo of the Nirvana team was created based on the house, the Acid House. The next version is the most practical. It's just the face of a person who drank a lot or was under the influence of drugs, but others believe that this similar picture was painted on the bridge where Kurt Cobain slept, but no one really knows for certain where this iconic emblem originated from. Nevermind. Nevermind is the second album by the American rock band Nirvana, and it was definitely their most popular, and it sold approximately 300,000 copies in a week. The lead single, Smells Like Teen Spirit, reached the top 10 of the US Billboard Hot 100 and went on to be inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Its videos was also heavily rotated on MTV. 3 other successful singles were released, Come As You Are, Lithium, and In Bloom. The album also garnered the band 3 Grammy Award nominations. Nevermind and its singles successfully propelled Nirvana to being widely regarded as the biggest band of the 1990s, with Kurt Cobain being dubbed by critics as the voice of his generation. The album brought grunge and alternative rock to the mainstream audience. It was also sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. It is now among the most acclaimed and influential albums in the history of music. In Utero. In Utero is the third and final studio album by Nirvana. It was released on September 21st, 1993. After breaking into the mainstream with their second album, Nirvana hired Steve Albini to record In Utero, seeking a more complex, abrasive sound that was also reminiscent of their debut album, Bleach. Although frontman and lyricist Kurt Cobain claimed that the album was very impersonal, many of its songs contain heavy allusions to his personal life and struggles, expressing feelings of angst that were common in Nevermind. The album was recorded over 2 weeks in February 1993. After recording finished, rumors circulated that DGC, their record label, might not release the album due to Albini's abrasive and uncommercial sound. In Utero was a major commercial and critical success, although critics praised the album's raw, unconventional sound and Cobain's lyricism. It reached number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and UK Albums chart. Heart-Shaped Box and All Apologies reached number 1 on the Billboard Alternative Songs chart, and the album is certified 5 times platinum in the United States and has sold 15 million copies worldwide. It was their last album before Kurt Cobain's death. Alright, now into Tier 2, starting with MTV Unplugged. Nirvana's appearance on MTV Unplugged is one of the most famous live performances of a band ever performed, and as recent has just over 1 billion streams on Spotify. This show showcased Kurt Cobain's amazing and raw voice and the band's instrumental skills. The Spencer Eldon lawsuit. Spencer Eldon, known as the famous Nevermind cover baby, sued Nirvana for featuring his naked image on their album cover, claiming it was CP. Eldon filed a lawsuit against the band members and others involved, seeking damages and alleging lifelong damages due to the image. However, the defendants argued that Eldon had profited from his celebrity status and the court ruled against him, resulting in no financial compensation. Frances Bean Cobain. Frances Bean Cobain is Kurt Cobain's and Courtney Love's child. She was born on August 18, 1992. They named her Bean because Kurt Cobain thought she resembled a kidney bean on the ultrasound. Incesticide is a compilation album by the band Nirvana. It consists of their 1990 non-album single, Silver, B-sides, demos, outtakes, cover versions, and radio broadcast recordings, and as such is not the official follow-up to the band's breakthrough album Nevermind. The album was released on December 15, 1992 in the United States. The cover art was painted by Cobain, who was credited as Kurt Cobain in the liner notes. The rubber duck seen on the album's back cover belonged to art designer Robert Fisher. The front cover prominently displays a poppy, hinting at Cobain's struggle with heroin addiction. Smells Like Nirvana is a song parody written and performed by American musician Weird Al, a parody of Nirvana's song Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was released as a lead single from Weird Al's Off the Deep End album in April 1992. Smells Like Nirvana was written during a 3-year career low for Weird Al after the financial failure of his film UHF, but captured the quickly rising popularity of grunge and Nirvana's success. The song was written to ridicule the fact that many people could hardly understand Nirvana singer Kurt Cobain's lyrics in the original song. After being unable to contact Nirvana conventionally, Weird Al called Cobain while the band was on the set of Saturday Night Live, where Cobain quickly gave permission to record the parody. The T-shirts. Nirvana is known for their T-shirts, and not necessarily in a good way. Nirvana is currently looked at as kind of a clothing brand or fashion trend instead of an actual band that makes music, causing many Nirvana fans to be pissed off when the people wearing the shirts can't even name a single song. Bleach is Nirvana's first album, released in 1989. It was recorded in Seattle and released by Sub Pop. Although it didn't initially chart, it received positive reviews. After the success of Nirvana's second album, Nevermind, Bleach gained more attention and reached higher chart positions. It has sold over 1.9 million copies in the United States and is Sub Pop's best-selling album. Kurt Cobain's death in 1994 further increased its popularity, and it was ranked number 13 on Rolling Stone's 50 Greatest Grunge Albums list in 2019. Ownership of Nirvana. Courtney Love, widow of Nirvana singer Kurt Cobain, sold a portion of her ownership in Nirvana's publishing catalog to Larry Metzel of Primary Wave Music Publishing. Courtney Love felt overwhelmed managing the estate and sought a strategic partner to help preserve Cobain's song for future generations. Metzel's company paid over $50 million for the rights. The details of the partnership impact on Nirvana's music, such as preventing commercial use in ads, remain unclear. So basically, Courtney Love still owns a lot of it, same with his two bandmates, Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl. Smashing instruments. Kurt Cobain explained that the instrument destruction at the end of Nirvana concerts served two purposes: celebrating a great set or releasing frustration after a mediocre one. As the band's career progressed, they turned it into a self-parody, creatively destroying their gear in a humorous ways. Kurt found performing euphoric when everything went well, but grew frustrated with fans' expectations and struggled with isolation after Nevermind's success. The instrument destruction became a captivating aspect of their live performances, but sadly declined as Kurt's enthusiasm waned before his untimely death. Guns N' Roses feud. Axl Rose and Kurt Cobain, two rock musicians shaped by rebellious music, had a feud during the alternative era. Kurt criticized Guns N' Roses, while Axl wanted Nirvana to tour with his band. The tension escalated with insults exchanged, leading to a heated confrontation at the 1992 MTV Video Music Awards. The feud eventually subsided, and recently Axl thanked former Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl for leading him a throne. Heart-Shaped Box music video. There are many theories surrounding Heart-Shaped Box, originally titled Heart-Shaped Coffin. The track appeared on Nirvana's third studio album, In Utero. The studio venture followed the immense success of the group's second album, Nevermind, which pretty much single-handedly shot grunge into the mainstream. With all the fame came so much criticism, much of which was aimed at Cobain's lyrics. While Cobain hated this new proximity to criticism, he also utilized his fame to speak up about issues too close to his heart. Every Nirvana fan knows that Cobain identified as a feminist and was a strident supporter of women's rights. When Heart-Shaped Box was released, Cobain claimed the song was inspired by television report after children suffering from cancer. While this may have been the catalyst, many argue that the song actually focuses on the author's fractious relationship with his wife, Courtney Love. After their first meeting, Love apparently sent Cobain a small heart-shaped box filled with bric-a-brac. It contained, among other things, a doll's head separated from its body, the various references to Pisces and Cancer, Cobain and Love's respective star signs, and what would support the later interpretation. But without Cobain to offer insight, the true meaning has always remained a mystery. In Bloom music video, Kurt Cobain explained that he had a disdain for rednecks, macho men, and abusive people. He said that this song was an attack on these types. Growing up in Aberdeen, Washington, Cobain encountered a lot of people with very little tolerance to anyone different. He told Melody Maker in 1992, "For ages, I thought I might be homosexual because I didn't like the cheerleader type of girl or wanted to hang out with the jock boys. I chose to live the life of recluse. I didn't hang out with anyone else because I couldn't handle their stupidity," Cobain said. Kurt Cobain was very much aware that many people would not like the point of his songs and simply sing along with him blindly. On this song, he wrote a very sing-along chorus so that people who would find themselves singing along not understanding the song. He's the one who likes all the pretty songs, and he likes to sing along, but he knows not what it means. Quote from the In Bloom song, "To further provoke the homophobic crowd that song targets, the band wore dresses in the video. The clip begins with the band appearing on a 50s-style variety show with the clueless host hyping them up but mispronouncing their name. Later on, clips with the band wearing dresses appear in contrast to their jacket and tie that they look for in most of the videos." Kurt smells like Teen Spirit. Teen Spirit was actually a deodorant aimed at girls and was launched in the US in 1991 by Manane Company. And there's an early ad for the deodorant that claimed, "The harder you play, the harder it works." This sparked Kurt Cobain's imagination to make the hit song Smells Like Teen Spirit. Alright, now on to Tier 4, God is Gay. God is Gay could be a reference to many things with Kurt Cobain and the band Nirvana, but the one thing I'm going to go with is that when he got arrested when he was 19 for spray painting God is Gay on many people's cars. Corporate magazines still suck. In 1992, when Nirvana appeared on the cover of Rolling Stone, Kurt Cobain wore a t-shirt that featured the handwritten phrase, "Corporate magazines still suck." Now, the high-end fashion brand Bettermans have ripped off the design and are now selling it for a large amount of money. Sunglasses. Kurt Cobain has been known for his iconic sunglasses, and he wears them in a lot of his photo shoots. But yeah, he's been known for wearing these glasses. Animated Lithium music video. Kurt Cobain had a very different idea for his official Lithium music video. Quote, Cobain originally wanted the video to feature an animated story about a girl named Prego who lives in a house in a forest. One day, she finds a big pile of eggs in her closet and puts them in a train of 3 wagons that she wheels through the forest until she comes to a king's castle. By that time, all the eggs but one have cracked, and she takes the egg and carries it up to the king's throne and places it on a large book that's on his lap. He's asleep, but when he awakes, he opens his legs and the book slides between them and closes on the egg. When Cobain and Kerslake discovered the innovation would take 4 months to produce, they instead created a film collage of Nirvana performing in concert. Kurt Cobain's journals. Journals is actually a sold thing of Kurt Cobain's journals he had and wrote in, and it's a collection of writings and drawings by Kurt Cobain, the lead singer. Published in 2002 and 2003, it topped the New York Times bestseller list. The content includes notes, letters, lists, and drawings. Cobain suffered from physical ailments, including scoliosis and stomach issues, detailed in his journals. The cause of his gastrointestinal problems remains unknown, but Cobain has a fascination with his bodily functions, which influenced his lyrics and art. Chad Channing. Chad Channing is an American musician who is best known as the former drummer of the rock band Nirvana from 1988 to 1990, during which time they recorded and released their debut album Bleach. He also appears on Polly in the follow-up album Nevermind. He currently sings and plays in Bass, the band before Cars. Chad remained with Nirvana until May 1990, at which time he exited due to other artistic differences. It was a mutual decision among the band, so there wasn't any animosity or harsh drama. With this search underway for a new drummer and Cobain always looking for something to find humor in things, Cobain got creative in one of the band's fan club letters, which sent out that summer. The letter announced Chad's departure from Nirvana and makes light of the vacant spot, teasing that the band might resort to drum machines or other possibilities for Nirvana's future. The Melvins. Kurt Cobain was initially enlisted to help the Melvins' album Houdini, but was later fired due to his drug issues. Despite this, Cobain remained a staunch supporter of the Melvins. Kurt Cobain's connection with Melvins played a significant role in his musical journey, but as he met Chris Novoselic at a Melvins practice, and their early band included a Melvins drummer, Melvins eventually signed with Atlantic Records thanks to in part of Nirvana's success. Top of the Pops appearance. When Nirvana appeared on the Top of the Pops, they had to go on a backing track and use fake vocals, and they had to sing over the backing track and the vocals. And Kurt and the rest of the band did not like that at all, so they decided to troll everyone while they sang Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it's funny enough, so let me just play the clip.
Load up on drugs, kill your friends, it's fun to lose to them. She's overjoyed, self-assured, and all I
Nirvana kicked out of Nevermind release. Nirvana were not known for their corporate credentials. The band, in reality, made a name for themselves as the anti-establishment and anti-consumerism poster boys. It proved to be a concert that would ironically sell millions of records and make the band and Kurt Cobain household names. But while the record sales steadily came through the door, the band were still rebels at heart. One such moment of a frivolous rebellion came when the band were kicked out of their own album release party aimed to celebrate the 1991 seminal album, Nevermind. The cause? Well, they caused a mass food fight. The moment arrived following the release of the band's now iconic second studio album. It was a majorly significant moment for both of the band, who, with Bleach, had set out to stall for their success, but also the record label, the hard rock arm of Geffen Records. The label must have felt a departure from the grassroots scene they had left behind in Seattle with their previous company, Sub Pop. Fecal Matter was a punk rock band formed in 1985 by Kurt Cobain, Del Crover, and Greg Hawkinson. Hawkinson was later removed from the band. Buzz Osborne and Mike Dillard of the Melvins joined the band for rehearsals. The band's songs were recorded in a demo tape called Illiteracy Will Prevail, the only spank through being officially released. A re-recording of Downer appeared on Nirvana's album Bleach. This demo tape helped establish Kurt Cobain as a songwriter and performer in the emerging grunge scene. Alright, now on to Tier 5. Kurt had bipolar disorder. It is known that the lead singer of Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, had attention deficit disorder, otherwise known as ADD, as a child, then bipolar disorder later. He didn't pursue treatment. Despite success as the leader of Seattle's grunge rock movement, Cobain struggled with depression as well and only fueled his drug addiction. Jason Everman on Bleach cover. Everman joined Nirvana in February 1989 as a second guitarist. He's listed as being the second guitarist on Nirvana's Bleach and appears on the cover, but did not actually play on any of the tracks. Nirvana founder Kurt Cobain said the credit was a token of thanks to Everman for paying a fee of $606 to record the album. On the 2009 remaster edition of Bleach, Everman is no longer credited, but he can still be seen on the front cover, and he is given special thanks in the booklet. Everman toured with Nirvana in the summer of 1989 in support of Bleach. He can be heard playing on the guitar on Trust No One, an unofficial release of a live performance in Boston. Cobain had broken his guitar the previous night and only provided vocals, leaving the guitar playing to Everman. Everman can also be seen in the bootleg video of Nirvana playing as in-store performance at Rhino Records in Los Angeles on June 23, 1989. During his time with Nirvana, he could also sometimes be seen using Fender guitars, generally the Fender Telecaster. Nirvana fired Everman after the tour ended due to his moodiness. Aaron Burkhardt, born November 14, 1963, and he was the first drummer of Nirvana. Recruited by Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic, he played with the band until October 1987 when he was replaced by Dave Kohler of the Melvins. Burkhardt's drumming can be heard on the first disc of Nirvana's With the Lights Out. His dismissal was due to the volatile nature, leading to physical confrontations and not taking his membership seriously, also including skipping practice, and the final straw was when he got Cobain's car impounded after a DUI arrest. Nirvana recorded their first album, Bleach, just for $606.17 for 30 hours of studio time. Kurt Cobain spat on Elton John's keyboard. Given the ongoing feud between Kurt Cobain and Axl Rose, Cobain ended his set by spitting on what he thought was Axl's piano, which was at the front of the stage awaiting his duet with Elton John, but he actually spit on Elton John's piano. Original In Bloom music video. Nirvana actually had an alternate In Bloom music video, and it's pretty low quality, but it's pretty cool to see the early stages of the band. I Hate Myself and I Want to Die. This song was supposed to be the title to Nirvana's 1993 album. They later chose In Utero after bassist Chris Novoselic convinced Cobain to switch, as he feared it could potentially result in a lawsuit. Lead Belly Guitar. While recording Nirvana MTV Unplugged, Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain mentioned that, "Oh yeah, this guy representing the Lead Belly estate wants to sell me his Lead Belly guitar for $500,000. I asked David Geffen personally if he'd buy it for me. He wouldn't do it. We'll be passing out a bucket later," guitarist Chris Novoselic joked. According to MTV's documentary about the performance, Cobain was prone to exaggeration and inflated the amount 10 times. In any case, 27 years later, the guitar Cobain himself had used during the performance sold at auction for $6 million. Kurt Cobain was a janitor. Kurt Cobain, yes, the Kurt Cobain, was once a janitor for Lemon's janitorial service. It's strange to imagine him scrubbing toilets and mopping floors now that we've seen him rock on stage and heard his hit songs. But it's true. In the book Cobain on Cobain, he describes grunge from the perspective of a janitor. It's a fine mix of cleaning solvents, not to be used in the toilet, he said. When I was a janitor, I used to work with these guys Rocky and Bullwinkle. They'd clean their toilet bowls with their bare hands and then eat lunch without washing their hands. They were very grungy. Early band names. During the band's initial months, the band went through a series of names, including Skid Row, Pen Cap Chew, Bliss, and Ted Ed Fred. Alright, now we're getting deeper into the icebergs, starting off the tier 6, with Kurt's doll fascination. From a very young age, Kurt Cobain had a fascination with babies. When Kurt was young, he would often draw pictures of babies, or baby-like alien creatures. He seemed intrigued by them, and this fascination grew with time. When Kurt moved into his first apartment after high school in Aberdeen, Washington, he decorated it with bloodied baby dolls. Then he bought modeling clay and sculpted babies and baked them in his oven. And as he became more involved in his strange hobby, Kurt would order accurate models of body parts, babies, and fetuses from surgical catalogs. Even after Kurt and Courtney married him in 1992, Kurt's obsession grew. It makes you wonder what she thought of his strange hobby. This obsession wasn't a secret, though not many people know that his obsession with babies inspired much of his music. The song Drain You is all about this. The opening line is "one baby into another said," and later in the song the words are "I traveled through the tube," and many other lyrics that if you listen carefully to them, you can sense his fascination. Kurt once said that he wished the song was as big of a hit as Smells Like Teen Spirit because he liked the lyrics and liked playing the song. Kurt depicted babies for some of his music too. He used a drawing he did of an alien, like Baby for the cover of Lithium single, and in the US version's liner picture he has Francis Bean's first monogram picture. Kurt never lost his fascination. In fact, Nirvana's last studio album, named In Utero, at most, maybe all In Utero concerts, the stage was decorated with huge angle-like women that you could see the insides of. Also, Nirvana's third album, Incesticide, also had a connection. The cover it has another baby-like drawing on it, and in the video for Sliver, it shows a room full of dolls and other stuff and features Kurt's baby Francis dancing around. The entire video for Heart-Shaped Box is also an indication of his obsession. The theme of it gives you the feel, and so do the lyrics. Kurt was Buddhist. Kurt Cobain named his band Nirvana because in Buddhism, Nirvana means ultimate freedom and individuality, essentially the Buddhist version of heaven, and that's how we felt about punk rock and grunge. But I couldn't find anything about Kurt himself actually being Buddhist, although he was a born-again Christian. Ain't Got No Whatchamacallit is a phrase scrawled on the side of a wall by Kurt Cobain in 1985, and he possibly got arrested for doing it. Alright, on the second to last tier, tier 7, Incesticide album cover meaning. The Incesticide album cover shows Kurt Cobain's obsession with autonomy and dolls, but it has a deeper meaning. The main doll is represented as Kurt, the doll is Kurt's addiction, and the poppy flower is heroin. So it is just basically showing Kurt Cobain's addiction to heroin. Multiple songs made about Toby Vale. Vale met Kurt Cobain when she was hanging around him with the Melvins in 1986. Cobain played guitar on the One Go Team songs. Vale and Cobain briefly dated in the beginning of July 1990. The two discussed the possibility of starting a music progress and recorded a few songs together. Some of these songs ended up being Nirvana tracks, referring to the Teen Spirit deodorant brand that Vale once used. Kathleen Hanna wrote, "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit" with a Sharpie on the wall of Cobain's bedroom. Cobain, unaware of the deodorant brand, saw a deeper meaning in the phrase and wrote the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit." Cobain and Vale soon split up but remained friends. He wrote the song about a girl about her. Poppies or poppy flowers. In the heart-shaped box music video, Kurt is laying in a field full of poppies, and this is yet another symbol of his addiction. Perfume. Book. Petrushkin's novel Perfume deeply impacted Kurt Cobain's approach to songwriting. Cobain considered it a personal work written exclusively for him and revealed it in an interview that he said he couldn't live without it. He described the story's protagonist, a perfumer apprentice disguised with humanity, as relatable to his own feelings. Cobain even incorporated the book's themes into the song Scentless Apprentice from In Utero. Perfume provided solace during a dark time in Cobain's life, reminding him that he wasn't alone. Its profound influence is evident in the emotional and visceral nature of Cobain's writing. Boda. Boda was the imaginary friend of lead singer-songwriter Kurt Cobain of the Seattle grunge band Nirvana. As a child, Kurt wrote "Kill Your Parents" on the wall of his school and blamed it on Boda. Later in his life, he addressed his note to his friend Boda. Manly chest graffiti. In the final installment of the entire Nirvana Iceberg, I don't know what it is, or even what it's about. I can't find anything about this online or anywhere, so if anyone knows anything about it, comment it down below and I'll pin you. And that wraps it up for the Nirvana Iceberg. Something different from me, but I wanted to make it because why not? Let me know if you want to see any other videos or any other icebergs, or just comment any of your ideas that you'd like to see me make. And anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.